Hello and welcome to another unscripted movie review where I review films that I watched coming out of the cinema or whatever. I didn't watch Barbie, I didn't watch Oppenheimer. I will watch those when they come out on digital, but today I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I was actually the most interested in this film out of all three of the films that I mentioned. I really like Seth Rogen. I think he's produced a bunch of good stuff. I love Invincible, I love The Boys, and now he's doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's one of my favourite films of the year. There's just so much charm to this film. I love like the teenager voice actors who voice the different turtles. They're obviously like new and upcoming voice actors, and they're actual teenagers, unlike the 90s films which I watched a few days back, but it really puts the teenage in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack's great. I didn't even know Trent Reznor did it of 9 Inch Nails. It really stood out in scenes. It really elevated scenes a lot. And just like the song choices in general, you got a bunch of hip hop tracks as well. You got De La Soul, The Tribal Quest, just amazing songs implemented into the film which really fit. It's just really fun. It's a really enjoyable time. Obviously Seth Rogen's known for doing more R-rated, raunchy stuff, and I didn't exactly know if he was the right fit for a film like this, but he really was. It just worked really well. I forgot to mention the animation. The animation is beautiful. It does remind me a bit of Spider-Verse, but it has like its own style where it like feels scribbly and a bit more rough, which I really like. The story itself I think is really great. Obviously in the 90s films you have villains like Shredder who are really threatening and maybe got a bit goofy in the sequels, but here you got Superfly, voiced by Ice Cube, and I think he does a great job. I like what they do with his character. I like where his character goes in the final act. It does kind of remind me a tiny bit of Nimona in the final act. The action in this film is amazing. Obviously it's got to do with the animation. You have all these long shots of the turtles fighting and it looks amazing. What is that sound, bro? I just lost my track of thought. The humour is really great. It has a lot of like modern day humour, which my mum would not get. I kind of cringed every time a word like Riz was being said because I just thought of what my mum was thinking. There were lots of like things that actual teenagers would say, and you can tell they just let the voice actors for the turtles just improvise, and it works really well and it leads to some really funny moments. I love the rat. I liked him in the 90s films. He's a really stern figure for the turtles. I love Jackie Chan and I think he works really well as that character. Just a lot of great voice acting in this film. I think the conclusion was really great. It wraps up a lot of things really well, and there was a mid-credit scene that teased someone. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I do think there is some weird editing moments in this film, and there were some pacing issues around the middle, but it was an hour and a half film, I'm pretty sure, around there, and it did really pick up really quickly. It's just, you have to see it. I'm giving it a 9.5. I'm just gonna get into spoilers because I don't know what else to say about this film, I'm sorry. Shredder was teased in the mid-credit scene. I love Shredder from the 90s films. He's just a really fun villain, and I'm really excited to see him in the sequel. Also, there was a vocal cameo by Mr. Beast that I literally didn't even catch. My brother actually pointed it out to me after I came out of the cinema because he's a massive Mr. Beast fan. He just watches Mr. Beast, that's all he watches. Obviously in the third act you had Ice Cube getting all big, which reminded me a bit of Nimona when Nimona grew like massive, and it also deals with humans treating creatures different to them like monsters, which is very similar as well. I like this film better, I'm not gonna lie. I just think the story's better. I think it's more charming, it's just more fun, the animation is better. I love it. So that is it for today's review. If you enjoyed it, please like it.